Hey guys, welcome back to another sports stuff video. Today we'll be talking about the 2025 NFL draft and doing a mock draft for every team in the NFL. So if you guys do enjoy, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification button to be notified when I post next. Let's get into it. So we're officially in the final quarter of the NFL season. College football is going to the playoffs next week. It's gonna be very exciting, very exciting. So let's talk about the NFL draft. As for the most part, the top 10 to 12 teams are kind of solidified, and what they're going to need and where they're at probably in the draft. You know, some teams may shift one or two spots, but currently this is where I feel like a lot of these teams are going to end up being. So, with the number one overall pick, the Las Vegas Raiders are going to select Shedeur Sanders. I think by far Shedeur Sanders is quarterback number one. He's more polished as a quarterback than Jalen Milroe and Cam Ward. My ring camera is going off. He's more polished than both those guys already. And I think his ceiling is a pretty solid quarterback, like probably a top 10 fringe quarterback. I don't really think there's a true franchise guy in this draft. I think a lot of people in the NFL actually agree with that. That's why I don't see a lot of trades happening, right? I think guys are going to go where they're picked, and that's going to be okay. So, Shedeur Sanders goes number one overall to the Las Vegas Raiders. They get their quarterback. They're having a rotating door this year with Desmond Ritter, Aiden O'Connell, and Gardner Minshew all getting injured and is not playing well. So Shedeur Sanders ends up being the quarterback number one for the Raiders next year. And I think he's ready to start day one as well. Then at number two, New York Giants. I'm going to select another quarterback, but not Cam Ward. I'm going to be drafting Jalen Milroe. So I do this because, yes, I understand for the last 6 weeks of the college football season, Jalen Milroe as a passer struggled mightily. Like, really struggled. But as a rusher, this guy is a threat. And guess what? Brian Daboll loves those dual threat quarterbacks that can run and throw the ball. He helped develop Josh Allen into the guy he is today. Josh Allen just had 6 touchdowns, 3 on the ground, 3 in the air. I think Jalen Milroe can be another version of that type of quarterback where he's dual threaded, right? Like kind of like Jalen Hurts, where he's very run heavy, but when he throws the ball, he can be dominant. I think Brian Daboll is the right coach to develop him. I don't think Brian Daboll is going to get fired. I think he's going to get a quarterback because, again, he inherited Daniel Jones, went to the playoffs year one. Then Daniel Jones has never really developed past that. Teams figured him out immediately with the Daboll system. I think Brian Daboll is a really good offensive play caller. I think they have the wide receiver, they have a running back, they have an okay offensive line that they can honestly continue to develop. But Jalen Milroe is able to play well in spite of the bad offensive line. So Jalen Milroe is my quarterback number two. I think he's a better scheme fit for the Giants. And again, every single year of college football, Jalen Milroe's had a different OC. He had Bill Belichick, he had Tommy Reese, and then he had Kalen DeBoer. I don't know who their all OC is, but a new one this year under Kalen DeBoer. I think Jalen Milroe, he's gotten better every single year. That's what you want to see in these quarterbacks coming out of the draft. He's exactly what you want. I think Jalen Milroe can be a really good quarterback in the NFL. Then for number three, with the New England Patriots, I'm going to grab Travis Hunter. Other places I've considered were edge and defensive line, just in general linebacker. But I just don't think that the Patriots are going to let Travis Hunter slip past them because it's already been come out that the Patriots are going to go to the moon for T. Higgins. They're going to pay him whatever he wants to come play for the Patriots. So they're going to get their wide receiver one. They have a pretty solid group of wide receiver twos and threes. I think they need to help this defense now. You have Christian Gonzalez, grab Travis Hunter, say, hey, you're going to get 50 snaps at cornerback every single game. You get 10 to 12 offensive snaps a game, and that's what it's going to happen, right? You're not doing 30-30. You're doing 50 to 10, 50 to 12. Because, again, usually each game, you have 60 snaps on defense, 60 snaps on offense. That's what it averages out to. You give him 50 on defense, 12 on offense a game. That's 2 or 3 catches a game for 28 yards, 35 yards, 45 yards, a touchdown. Like, he's not going to be the offensive guy, right? But he's a dominant elite corner. I think Travis Hunter, by far in this draft, is the best corner. I don't think he's the best corner in NFL, but I think in this draft, he is the best overall corner. So Travis Hunter, I'm going to go at number 3 for the Patriots. Pair him next to Christian Gonzalez. That's an amazing cornerback duo. Then at number 4, with the Panthers, I am going to grab Mason Graham. Listen, I know they need a lot of help, right? They need help at wide receiver. They need help at linebacker. But for me, I'm going to go Mason Graham because imagine him and Derek Brown next to each other on the interior of that defensive line, right? We saw Brian Burns and Derek Brown. Now imagine what Mason Graham, a true nose tackle, next to Derek Brown, that defensive end in the 3-4 scheme. Like, that is going to be an amazing duo in the interior of the defensive line. No one's going to be able to run on it. They're going to be really good at pass rushing. Like, if I'm the Panthers, grabbing Mason Graham would be number one I would want to do. If this is how the draft is falling, I want Mason Graham. Bryce Young has proven that he is deserving of another year, right? And I think Mason Graham helps that defense day one become one of the best run stoppers next to Derek Brown when he's healthy next year, who just broke the tackle record by D-tackle last year. Then with the Jacksonville Jaguars at number 5, again, a couple of places I thought of going, but I'm going to go Will Campbell. This offensive line needs to get better. They need to help protect Trevor Lawrence a little bit more. And Will Campbell, true left tackle number 1. A lot of rumors of him going to guard. I watched the film. I felt, the aura around him. I don't see him as a guard. I think he can make it as a tackle in the NFL. And I think that you got to protect Trevor Lawrence. You invested a lot of money into him. Obviously, he was a former number 1 overall pick. You invested $50 million a year into him. Protect him, right? You got the wide receivers, okay? You got Brian Thomas Jr. last year. You have Evan Ingram. You have Travis Etienne and Tank Bigsby. You have other wide receivers outside of that. Parker Washington. You still have Christian Kirk on the roster. Help this offensive line develop the defense through free agency and the later parts of the draft. Get your franchise left tackle Will Campbell. Move Walker Little, who's been playing pretty okay. Move Walker Little back to right tackle, and you have really solid tackle pairing day one. Then for the Tennessee Titans at number 6, again, like I said, I don't think any of these guys are franchise changing. CJ Stroud, I don't even know, Jaden Daniels type of quarterbacks. I don't think any of these guys are. None of these guys would beat out those guys in a day one. Like, I would put Jaden Daniels coming out of the draft over Shedeur Sanders. So Jalen Milroe would have been quarterback number 3 in that draft. I don't see a rookie. I don't know how to say this. I don't see a Hall of Famer in this quarterback class right now. I may be wrong, but that's what I see. So Shedeur Sanders going to the Raiders. No one's going to trade up and beat him out for Shedeur Sanders. Jalen Milroe, they need a quarterback. For number 6 of the Titans, teams like the Jets could have traded up. The Browns could have traded up. The Saints could have traded up. No one else. The Rams maybe. Like, there are guys in here that could have traded up for Cam Ward, traded with the Jaguars to get Cam Ward. I don't see it happening because I think the top 10, they're going to let whatever happens. If Cam Ward falls to us, awesome, we're going to take him. But he's not worth the draft capital and the investment in the trade up to get Cam Ward. So yeah, let the draft board fall. Titans end up getting Cam Ward. I think that's a really good, solid scheme fit. He has a lot of Joe Burrow in him without the timing, right? Cam Ward loves to hold on to the ball, and that's an issue. That is an issue. But I think Brian Callahan is one of the best OCs to get that out of him, right? To get him to pull the trigger quicker. That's what they did with Joe Burrow. Pull the trigger, right? Just throw the ball. You have a big arm. You're pretty accurate downfield. Just get the ball out of your hands. You get it to Nick Westbrook-Akini, Calvin Ridley. Just get the ball out of your hands and keep going. We have a solid run game. We have a solid offensive line. We have solid wide receivers and tight end play. We just need that quarterback to plug and play in our offense. And Cam Ward, he's a raw prospect. You could let him sit. But for me, I think Cam Ward could play day one. I would probably let him sit, though. But with how dire the Titans' offensive game is, right? Like how dire their quarterback play is, I think they either sign a veteran and sit Cam Ward, or Cam Ward starts day one. Then for the Jets at number 7, I'm grabbing Ted McMillan. Like, he's the best player available. And at this point, I still think Ashton Jeanty would have been better, but they have Breece Hall. They have Braylon Allen. They're not going to grab Ashton Jeanty. I think Abdul Carter is an opportunity. They've drafted so many defensive linemen in the top 2 rounds in the last 3 years. They've got to go weapon. Get Aaron Rodgers another weapon, right? Or the future quarterback for the Jets. You have Garrett Wilson. You're going to extend him here soon. Get him and Ted McMillan on your team. Have a dynamic duo at wide receiver. Then when you get a quarterback, you have 2 amazing wide receivers, some really good running backs, solid tight end, okay offensive line in the midst of being rebuilt, and then just get a quarterback in the next year draft or in 2027, which is a stronger draft class, and you have all these guys that are ready to play and you just need a quarterback. So grab Ted McMillan, wide receiver 1, him and Garrett Wilson would feed off each other. Then for the Browns, I'm grabbing Ashton Jeanty, right? I mean, Nick Chubb is not horrible. He's obviously still reeling from that horrible injury he had. But the interior of this Browns offensive line is really bad. There's no center and no guard worth a top 8 pick right now, obviously. We don't need a left tackle or a right tackle. We have Jack Conklin. We have DeJuan Jones. And I think we go one of the guys that are in free agency as a flyer, right? Whether it's Mekhi Becton, whether it's Evan Neal. I see the Browns going for a project pick, like a project guy at tackle, and then drafting a really good BPA player in the first round of the draft. And Ashton Jeanty comes in, number 1 running back, blue chip prospect, and he'll split carries with Nick Chubb, right? Nick Chubb will get 10 to 15 carries a game. Ashton Jeanty will get 15 to 20 carries a game. Then, whatever quarterback you have back there, you have probably the best running back duo in the NFL with Ashton Jeanty and Nick Chubb. You have David Njoku, Jerry Jeudy, who's exploding, Elijah Moore, and Cedric Tillman developing. Like, that is a really good weapons for a quarterback to come in and play, and that's going to attract veteran quarterbacks to come and play for you. So for me, I'm grabbing Ashton Jeanty. We're going to rebuild this offensive line this offseason and probably for the next offseason as well. And we're going to have the best running back in this draft on roster, ready to take over for Nick Chubb when he retires. But in the first part of his career, he's going to be splitting carries with them. Then at number 9, the Chicago Bears. I'm going to fix this offensive line. I'm going Kelvin Banks Jr. and move him to guard. Listen, Will Campbell, I think, could play tackle. Kelvin Banks could play tackle, but he's 6'4", 320. Just get an oversized guard, right? We've seen it work in the NFL right now. People, I don't know who, Mekhi Becton, he got moved to guard. He's playing pretty well. Evan Neal should probably play guard for the Giants, and he played pretty well. There are so many tackles in the NFL right now. Daniel Falele for the Baltimore Ravens. He's playing guard. He's like 6'7", 350, and he is moving amazingly. If I'm the Bears, just grab the best offensive lineman available, put him at guard, and call it a day. Because Kelvin Banks can play guard. The Bears need guard badly. Like, tackle's not perfect either, but guard is horrible for them. There is no pressure being stopped from the interior of the offensive line, and the running backs can't get anything going. If I'm the Bears, I'm grabbing Kelvin Banks Jr., and I'm fixing the interior of this offensive line this year for Caleb Williams. Then, for the Cincinnati Bengals at number 10, I'm going to grab Abdul Carter. I think the issue with the Bengals is pressure, right? You have Trey Hendrickson, who's been pretty good this year, right? I think he's top 3, top 4 in sacks. But outside of that, you got no one. No D-tackle helping you. No defensive end helping you. No linebacker blitzing helping you. Let's go grab Abdul Carter, the best pass rusher in the class. Like, this dude's insane. 12 sacks this year, 4 sacks last year, 8 sacks 3 years ago. He's a constant sack machine. And as you can see, he's nearly doubled his hurry rate as well. Like, Abdul Carter, best pass rusher in this class. Go and get that guy at number 10, and it's help Joe Burrow. You don't need anything on offense. You have Chase Brown and Zach Moss. You have a solid offensive line. You have the wide receivers. Obviously, you're going to lose T. Higgins, but you have Andre Yoshivas right there to play wide receiver too. Tight end is okay. I think you just re-signed Hunter Henry, if I'm not mistaken. Like, you got okay offensive weapons. Sure, maybe in round 2, round 3, you add another wide receiver. You sign someone for cheap. But, like, you need defense. And Abdul Carter can come in and be the future of the pass rushing group in the Cincinnati Bengals organization. Then at number 11, this New Orleans Saints. This is going to be a little shocker. I'm not going to lie. You guys going to be a little shocked by what I'm going to do here. I'm going to go grab Emeka Egbuka from Ohio State. Would I ever have Emeka Egbuka this high probably a month ago? No. But he has been really, really solid this year. This is a guy that I think could come in and give valuable snaps day one. A true oversized slot receiver. You have Chris Olave as wide receiver 1, right? He's your X. You then have Marquez Valdes-Scantling / Rashid Shaheed as your wide receiver 2, your wide receiver, who's your deep threats. Grab a guy who can just take care of the middle of the field, get those slant routes, those out routes, those in routes, the curls, the comebacks. There's a guy who can dominate in the middle of the field. Then you have your 2 outside guys, your tight ends. Emeka Egbuka is that guy. Get as much help as you can for Derek Carr. We've seen when he has the weapons, this offense was potent. And with a new head coach coming in, whether it's Clint Kubiak staying as OC or a new guy coming in as an OC, you got to have more weapons for Derek Carr. I think Emeka Egbuka is the perfect guy to come in and help out Derek Carr. Plus, Mickey Loomis loves Ohio State players. He loves Ohio State players. And he's still the GM somehow. Then at number 12, another pick that you guys should not be surprised, but you guys know I love Jihaad Campbell. Jihaad Campbell is my linebacker number 1. He is a true athlete playing linebacker. And guess who else was a true athlete playing linebacker? Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. And their game is very similar. Both great downhill runners, great at TFLs, great at getting sacks, great at generating pressure, and good in the pass game as well. Jahad Campbell, I think, can be a dominant linebacker for the Dallas Cowboys. Him and Micah Parsons next to each other, evil. Evil. I might restart this draft and redo it, because imagine him and Micah Parsons next to each other. Straight up demonic stuff, dude. That would be crazy if Jahad Campbell and Micah Parsons were on the same team. Because two athletes playing linebacker, doing what they're doing, would be insane. Then for the Miami Dolphins, I'm gonna grab Will Johnson out of Michigan. Again, he's probably one of the second best pure corner in this class. I'm still a fan of Siobhan Revel. I still like Benjamin Morrison, but I think Will Johnson overall is the second best cornerback in this class. He's good at zone, good at man. This is a good player, right? Sometimes in the NFL, you need good players. And for the Dolphins, secondary is a very big issue for them. They cut Xavier Howard this past offseason, and Kahu hasn't really stepped up to be that cornerback number 2. He's probably more suited for what he was playing last year, that nickel corner. You obviously have Jamal Ramsey. So you're good at cornerback number 1. Grab Will Johnson, be CB number 2, and eventually take that step up to CB number 1 once obviously Jalen Ramsey isn't on the team anymore. Then for the Indianapolis Colts, I'm going to grab Malachi Starks. It fell right into their lap. They really struggle when it comes to deep, big plays, and Malachi Starks is a deep plays killer. This dude is really good. I genuinely think that Malachi Starks could be a defensive rookie of the year candidate, because he's a ball hawk. He's good in run support. He's good in pass support. He doesn't let up big plays. I'm a very big fan of Malachi Starks. If I'm the Colts, a team that struggles at letting up big plays in the passing game, grab Malachi Starks, man. This dude's gonna help solve the issue day 1. Then for the Atlanta Falcons, I'm gonna grab another Georgia product, not Jalen Walker. I'm gonna grab Mykel Williams. I think Mykel Williams is the second best pass rusher. I got no issue saying that. Obviously, I like Nick Scarton, Shamar Stewart, James Pierce still has some love in my heart. LT Overton, Princely Umamelan, Jack Sawyer, JT Tuimalalu, Donovan Ezerick, I'm Donovan from Boston College, Kamen Rucker, yeah, he's good as well. Michael Kamara, he's pretty solid. Danny Sutton is pretty solid. Brian Ugwu from Miami. When he was coming out, I thought he was going to come out last year. Brian Ugwu was really good. Like, I'm a big fan of Brian Ugwu. If I am the Atlanta Falcons, right? We need to generate pressure. Mykel Williams is pretty good at that. This year, not so much. As you can see, he took a little bit of a dip when it comes to pass rushing, but he's a dominant run defender. Really good pass rusher when this guy's around him. And for the Falcons, they just need good edges, right? They need guys who can generate pressure, get to the quarterback, and stop the run. That's Mykel Williams. I think he does it better than Nick Scarton and all the other edges in this class. He has a higher potential. Then for the Arizona Cardinals, so I think it's very important for everyone to remember, right? In every single draft, there is a run of a certain position. I think this year is going to be tackle. So for the Arizona Cardinals, I'm going to have them grab a tackle. And of this group of tackles, out of Josh Simmons, Ursary from Minnesota, Wyatt Millum, Cam Williams, and Gray Zabel, the guy that I think they'd draft out of all these guys is Wyatt Millum. I think of those 5 tackles, Wyatt Millum is the best day 1 and has a pretty high floor as well. The Arizona Cardinals, they need someone who can stop Kyler Murray from getting sacked and being pressured. Look at what Wyatt Millum does in West Virginia. 0 sacks the last 2 years, 0 hurries, and only 17 combined hurries across the last 2 years. He's gotten better every year. He's a dominant tackle, and he's 6'6", 317. I love size at tackle. I love athleticism and agility. When Kyler Murray is running around the pocket, Wyatt Millum is agile enough to adjust his position and help Kyler Murray out. If I'm the Cardinals, Wyatt Millum is my pick at number 16. Yes, their defense needs help, but again, protect the big investment at quarterback. Then for the San Francisco 49ers, the pick I've been doing for a while is Cam Williams. But Josh Simmons, man, I think he can make it at right tackle. I think he's a real deal. Again, he's gotten better every year as his snap count has gone up. Obviously, had an injury this year. But, I mean, Josh Simmons is a really good tackle. He's a really good tackle. He has experience at both right tackle and left tackle. I think he's agile enough as well to kind of replace Trent Williams once he retires. But Josh Simmons, come in day one, start at right tackle. You have Trent Williams and Josh Simmons at left tackle, right tackle. Really good pairing. Bolster this offensive line. Bolster it. Get healthy, bolster the offensive line, and you'll be back in Super Bowl contention for the 49ers. Then the LA Rams at number 18. Again, same thing. I think they're gonna grab another tackle. That's gonna be Ursay from Minnesota. I think Ursay, same thing. 6'6", 330, big frame, good at blocking, good at run blocking as well. Only allowed 3 sacks the last 2 years and 19 hurries the last 2 years. This is a very good tackle at Minnesota. Very agile. You're gonna hear me saying that a lot. Very agile, big body, big frame, good pass blocker, solid run blocker. This is a team that wants to dominate at the line of scrimmage, and Ursay is a perfect, just get your nose down tackle. If I'm the LA Rams and Ursay's there, I'm taking Ursay. Because he's played in a big school, you know he's gonna be really good. Then at number 19, this is my one trade I'm gonna be doing. I think the Seattle Seahawks trade up into the number 19 spot. They trade number 23, a future third, and 135 for 19 and 233. I think this is the trade that you're going to see, right? They trade up 4 spots. They give up a third next year. They give up a third next year. This year, that was a compensatory pick. And they get traded a 7th round pick. I mean, that's exactly what you could see, right? And the Seattle Seahawks, they're going to go and they're going to grab Cam Williams, the one true right tackle in the first round, right? So Cam Williams, very athletic. He's more athlete than right tackle right now. But we've seen that work in the NFL, right? We've seen guys like Jordan Mailata develop into a really good left tackle who is just a pure athlete. We've also seen guys not work out, right? For the Colts, they took a left tackle a few years ago. I cannot remember his name. Indianapolis. I cannot remember the left tackle's name for the life of me. Bernhard Raimann, right? He was a 3rd round pick. He hasn't really worked out in the last couple of years. Not horrible, right? He's not like a horrible player, but I just don't see Bernhard Raimann getting an extension from the Colts. Hello? Why is this refreshing? Okay, there we go. Yeah, but Cam Williams, more athlete than right tackle. I think this is a perfect team to develop Cam Williams. Again, he's 6'5", 335, big body, big frame. You have Cameron Cross at left tackle. Charles Cross, sorry. You have Charles Cross at left tackle. He is solidified as your left tackle of the future. Grab Cam Williams. Abe Lucas, when he's on the field, has not been amazing, and he's too often injured. Grab Cam Williams, shore up your bookends of the offensive line, help Geno Smith out. I don't think Geno's the issue. He's played pretty well this season. I just think he's not gotten the help that he deserves. Then, if I'm the Washington Commanders, you honestly need tackle help. As much as I love Gray Zabel, you guys know Gray Zabel is my sleeper at the tackle position. I don't see him as a top 20 prospect. There's no way the Commanders take him as a top 20 prospect. I think they go and grab a wide receiver, and they get Luther Burden III from Missouri. I think they get you see, this issue, I stopped recording. I forget everyone's name. I think they get Terry McLaurin, another wide receiver to help. They tried to do it with Jahan Dotson. He got traded before the season even started. Never got a chance to play in the system with Jaden Daniels. But Luther Burden, grab him. You have him and Terry McLaurin as your wide receivers. 5'11", 208, big stocky frame for a guy that's only 5'11". He's really good. I like Luther Burden. As you can see, 29 missed tackles forced at 2nd in college football. This is a dude who's very elusive. I think Jaden Daniels and Luther Burden will be really good for the future of the Commanders. They need to get a young wide receiver to develop with Jaden Daniels for the future. And I think that's Luther Burden. And again, him and Terry McLaurin, it's going to be a really good duo as well. Then, I don't know how this always happens. I'm going Colston Loveland for the Chargers. It always happens. They need a run blocking tight end. They need a pass catching tight end. And guess what? His former coach is a head coach, yada, yada. You guys know. You guys know. I think Colston Loveland, if he's here at number 21, the Chargers are not letting him slip. He is a position of need. They need a pass catcher. They need someone who can help with the run game. They need a tight end. That's Colston Loveland, right? There's other tight ends that are really good as well. Tyler Warren, Harold Fannin, and I think Oronde Gadsden as well is what people are saying. Mitchell Evans is pretty solid. My guy, Bryson Nesbitt as well. Like, there's other guys that are good. But I think that Colston Loveland is, if he's there at 21, they're grabbing him. There's no one else they're going to grab, guys. You could also say Excuse me. You could also say Kenneth Grant maybe, but I think he's grabbing a Michigan guy in the first round. I don't see him not grabbing a Michigan guy. Then at number 22, the Denver Broncos. I'm going to grab Isaiah Bond. My comp for Isaiah Bond is Courtland Sutton, right? I think Isaiah Bond is a more explosive, more like Tyreek Hill, Courtland Sutton mix, right? He's more speedy than Courtland Sutton, but he's got the build and frame of Courtland Sutton and the route running ability, and he has Tyreek Hill's like deep threat ability. So the Broncos, they get their eventual Courtland Sutton replacement, and they get a wide receiver too, right? I think Vele, Marvin Mims, and Troy Franklin. I think those are all really solid wide receiver 3 options. I'm a big guy of Troy Franklin. I said he had the chance of becoming a wide receiver 1 in the NFL, and he's been really good this year, right? He hasn't really gotten a lot of opportunity. Drops a lot of balls as well. Again, he's a rookie. What do you expect? He's a rookie. He's gonna make mistakes, but I think they're all really solid wide receiver 3 options for this offense. Grab Isaiah Bonds. Get a true wide receiver 2, a true deep threat who has reliable hands, reliable route running, and boom, him and Courtland Sutton could be the wide receiver 1 and 2 for the next few years for Bo Nix. Then after the trade back of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I think they still grab the guy they would have grabbed at number 19. They got Nick Skeleton from Texas A&M. Again, a really good pass rusher, but I think he lacks the home run ability, right? I think Mikael Williams, he has that true boom, I'm gonna get to the quarterback, boom, I'm gonna stop the run. Nick Skeleton feels like it's more finesse than power, and for the Buccaneers, they feel more like a finesse team, and for the Falcons, they need a thumper, and I think Mikael Williams can be that thumper for them. Then at number 24, the Baltimore Ravens, I think they need a linebacker. I'm grabbing Jalen Walker. I think him and Patrick Queen have a lot in common. And as you can see, he lives on the defensive line, and obviously as a box linebacker as well. But he lives on that defensive line. He's a very big blitzer, and I think that's exactly what the Baltimore Ravens want, right? Patrick Queen was a very big blitzer when he was with them. I think Jalen Walker, who's there at number 24, is a great guy for the Baltimore Ravens scheme, and I think he's just a good player overall. He's not Jahad Campbell, but he's a very good blitzing linebacker that I think the Baltimore Ravens would be really happy to get to finally replace Patrick Queen. Because you see, without Patrick Queen, this defense is really taking a hit. Then number 25, I'm going Kenneth Grant for the Houston Texans. They've had an issue at defensive tackle for the last couple of years. They keep signing one-year deals to 29, 30, 31, 32-year-old players. Grab Kenneth Grant. Get a guy in there who can truly start day one and be an impactful player for you. Then number 26, the Green Bay Packers. I'm grabbing Benjamin Morrison. They need another guy next to Jaire Alexander. They keep going with these 3rd, 4th, 6th, 7th round guys to be that cornerback number 2 and 3. Stop it. Just grab Benjamin Morrison, solidify your secondary, him and Jaire Alexander for the future. Then number 27, I am going to grab finally my guy, Gray Zabel. The reason I'm doing this, right? The Pittsburgh Steelers and the Baltimore Ravens always grab guys that I would draft as a Browns fan. So I know that the Steelers also see Gray Zabel, right? I know they do. They're also a big team on drafting D2 players, right? They're very big on signing and very big on drafting D2 players. And NDSU, D2, right? Like, they're very big on it. Gray Zabel is really good at NDSU. And if I'm the Steelers, I need a tackle for the future. Grab Gray Zabel. He slots in day one. Dominant run blocker. Dominant pass blocker. It's a really good player. Grab him. You have a left tackle for the future. Then at number 28, the only other running back going in the first round, Omarion Hampton, right? The Vikings, they're really good. They're a really well-built team, right? There was a lot of slack that Questio Dafe Brown was getting, the GM of the Vikings. There's a lot of slack he was getting the last year or two, right? A lot of draft picks not working out, a lot of trades not working out, and this year, it finally all came together. I think the Vikings need another dominant running back. I think Omarion Hampton can be that guy for them. Again, another true thumper, just a true dominant running back. 6'1", 220, last 2 years, over 500 carries for over 2,100, or 3,100 yards, and 30 touchdowns. Dominance, right? 6 yards a carry from North Carolina. He's going to be a really good running back in the NFL. And I think the Minnesota Vikings are a perfect team that you got to help JJ McCarthy get a really good running back, right? If he's your starter next year, or even if it is Sam Darnold, get this running back that can help your run game truly get back to where it was when you had what's his name? Dalvin Cook. Sorry, I couldn't think of Dalvin Cook's name. Like, get back to that run first, pass second offense of the Minnesota Vikings. Then at number 29, the Buffalo Bills, they can just draft the best player available, and I'm gonna go James Pierce Jr. Right? They need defensive line help. I think James Pierce Jr. I mean, this is a guy the last year or two was being said was gonna be the number 1 overall pick, just like Chop Robinson was the year before. I think James Pierce falls to a playoff contending team, and he's gonna start for them eventually and be really good. And everyone's gonna wonder, wow, how did Chop Robinson fall to number 25? Wow, how did James Pierce fall to number 29? I don't know, right? He's obviously not the player everyone thought he was going to be, but he's still a really dominant player. Really good pass rusher, solid run blocker. I mean, look at this dude. 89 pass rush grade, 21 sacks the last 2 years, 68 hurries the last 2 years. This is a guy who can get to the quarterback, cause pressure. The Buffalo Bills love that. You still have Von Miller. You still have Gregory Rousseau. You still have the other edge rusher, Epinesa. You still got 3 guys ahead of him that can help him develop and give him time to develop. And James Pierce can come in a year or two and be the next starter. Then at number 30, same thing for the Eagles. I think they grab an edge rusher. They grab Princely Umanmielen. Like, this is another guy from Ole Miss that is just dominant. What is that? 24 sacks the last 3 years, 26 hits, 25, 30, like 50 hurries the last 3 years. A truly dominant pass rusher. Solid run stopper as well, 20% run stop rate, 8% run stop rate, 21% pass rush win rate. A just true dominant pass rusher. Princely Umanmielen will be another guy that the NFL world will say, wow, how did he go at number 30? Because he's not better as a prospect as other guys, but he's still a very good first-round player. Princely Umanmielen, book it. He's going to be a first-round pick, no doubt in my mind. So is Tyler Warren from Penn State. Tyler Warren is absolutely going to get drafted in the first round, and the Chiefs need a tight end in the future. We've seen Travis Kelce really regress this year. I don't see him staying another year in the NFL. I truly think if they three-peat this year, he's going to retire a champion. If they don't three-peat, he's going to retire and say, what we did was amazing. We couldn't get over the hump, but what I did in the NFL was amazing. And Tyler Warren will get drafted, and he'll be the next tight end for them. Him and Noah Gray. He's 6'6", 261, truly dominant this year at Penn State. Just like Travis Kelce, not the best run blocker, but he's one hell of a receiver. Tyler Warren to the Kansas City Chiefs. Book it right now. And speaking of booking, for the Lions, I'm grabbing Tyler Booker out of Alabama. I'm not going to draft him because it's the last pick of the NFL of the draft, so it's going to stop me. As you can see, just a solid guard. He can play left guard, right guard, 6'5", 325. This is a solid guard, right? Really good pass blocker. Not the best run blocker in the world. But again, when you have the best tackle pairing in the NFL, one of the best centers in the NFL, like, guards cannot be a plus forever. And I think Tyler Booker to the Lions, we don't know how long Kevin Zeitler is going to play. And I think Tyler Booker can come in, start for them day one, and solve an issue that they're going to have at the end of the season. So yeah, that's my mock draft. A little different than I usually have done. A lot of guys are in the first round that did not get drafted in the first round. The last mock draft, Jador Sanders goes number 1. Jalen Milroe over Cam Ward. Mason Graham, top 4 draft pick. Ashton Jeanty to the Browns, please. Emeka Ibuka and Jahad Campbell in the top 12. Wyatt Millum and Michael Williams in the top 16. A run of tackle in the middle of the first round. Again, I think that's very possible at a run of tackle. Luther Burden slipping to 20. Colson Loveland going back to Harbaugh at number 21. Jalen Walker falling to number 24. Gray Zabel going all the way up to 27. The end of the first round, seeing 2 really good pass rushers going to playoff contenders that they don't need to play year 1. They can develop. Tyler Warren replaces Travis Kelce. And the Lions just get a really good guard to replace Kevin Zeitler, who will probably retire at the end of the year. But yeah, if you guys did like this draft, let me know. I want to start doing individual team drafts, but I want to wait till the end of the regular season. I want to wait till the ends of college football as well, and then I'll get into that, off-season playoff stuff, off-season draft stuff. But if you guys enjoy, please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Again, who would you pick with your team? And I'll let you guys. I'll see you guys later. Peace and bye.